Hi guys, Preetha Balakrishnan here again and continuing with my series of, the interview series on the topic Women Power in Digital Entrepreneurship. Let me quickly introduce myself. I am Preetha Balakrishnan, your women's independence coach, and my vision is to help 100,000 women become self-reliant. And today I have a very interesting panelist along with me. She is a buddy and a lady named Sandhya Manne, and she is India's first certified Zentangle teacher. Privilege actually to interview her while she is coming online. I also wanted to quickly tell you what do I do. I basically, help women create inspiring goals for themselves, and with the help of brain-based methodology of coaching, I help them achieve it. Okay, and that's a little bit about me. And there comes Sandhya online, and thank you so much, Sandhya, for accepting this particular for this discussion. I know, I mean, before I could even complete the sentence, you agreed to join this discussion. So thank you so much. And it's so good to see you. How are you doing?
Hi Preetha, how are you? It's always a pleasure to work with you, and I'm more than happy to be here with you.
Excellent, Sandhya. So let me quickly introduce you to people who are viewing us here on this discussion and who are interested in this topic. So Sandhya basically is an artist and a certified Zentangle teacher. In fact, she's India's first certified Zentangle teacher, and she has been practicing and teaching Zentangle art for over a decade now. She is India's, as I said, first certified Zentangle teacher, and has taught thousands of enthusiastic participants, both in the US and here, through corporate sessions, private sessions, group classes, online classes. And she's been part of many art, stories. Is that exhibiting her
art exhibits? Yeah.
Art exhibits, and she holds regular workshops and creates out of her studio in Chennai. And I mean, it's always very special to talk to Sandhya because I mean, I've been involved in some sense in also her studio to happen. So it's really, I really feel special to talk to Sandhya in that sense. Yeah. So Sandhya, are we ready? Do we start off with the questions?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, Sandhya. So I wanted to actually, ask you, apart from we knowing each other, this whole topic of women power in digital entrepreneurship. How do you, why is it, or how is it important to you as an individual? Of course, we are all in the entrepreneur space as women, but how do you think it is really important to you? And why do you think it's important to you?
See, entrepreneurship is the way to go. Not just considering today's time, but in generally also because you have that flexibility. You can pick your topics or your interest, and from there on you can build it on. And there is always a demand for all kinds of skills. So whatever skills you are good at, it's always interesting to share it and then make money out of it. So entrepreneurship is always the thing, and especially for women because we have our own responsibilities and things. So entrepreneurship kind of gives us that flexibility to work around and scale it when we are ready, or pull it down when the need is there more, when you're required to be at some other place. So it gives you that flexibility to move around. So for women, I think entrepreneurship is the thing to go.
Okay, so that's so nice, Sandhya, that you're saying that. But let me give you a data point on this, and I've been, sort of saying the same thing with a few others who I've interviewed too. In India, in terms of women's entrepreneurship, we are abysmally low. We are actually third from the bottom after Pakistan and Bangladesh, especially in terms of steps that women somehow do not take that step to become an entrepreneur. That is number one. And number two is, at the leadership level, if you look at it at the corporate level, there is only 0.2% of the population that is women out there. Of course, it is better than what it used to be earlier. It was 29% earlier. Now it is 44%, and the leadership really is looking at promoting more women to reduce the space gap, but still it is there. So, that leads us to, while we all understand that there is flexibility, while we understand that, that step needs to be taken, where do you think is the real problem? Because whether it is finance, even at the financial level, women are not given support, is what is the research that says. Most of it is self-financed. Okay, so, and if they start something on their own, it is mostly disadvantaged communities that they start off with. Is what is the data that is shown. So in this scenario, what do you think is the real problem according to you, in whatever experiences that you've had as a woman entrepreneur? Where do you think is the real?
For me, to have a business and to have it successfully and consistently running requires 100% of efforts, and also it requires dedication and interesting ideas. So as an entrepreneur, for me, my struggles were that I'm alone, so I do not have a group. I don't see that kind of entrepreneurship community, especially for women, or mentors for women who could guide them, who can, there's so many questions when you're, because especially at least in my case, there's nobody else who's an entrepreneur in the family. Everybody else is has been working in corporate India or kind of a thing. So there are not many ideas or cues for me to take it along and move forward. So I'm always stuck, like, how do I go about, what is the next step, how to take this forward? So there's so many questions that are often left unanswered. So that is where my struggles have always been, that I do not know what to do next, how to take this forward, where to go, which direction to see, and especially with so much of digital marketing and so many things coming up, there is no clear path for me to see, and okay, this is how I need to go. So that is the kind of struggles that I have, and as you said, financially also. And even in terms of opportunities, when it's a small business, often you do not get the kind of opportunities which others do get. Like, even if I have to open a store on Amazon, I need to have a GST, and I do not have a GST because I'm under 20 lakh thing. So then my options are my opportunities are cut there, right there. So these are certain kind of issues I, as an entrepreneur, face, and I do not know where to go and find solutions for this. Like, whom to ask, who would give me, or who would address these kind of issues.
Okay. So, as an entrepreneur, and I know, Sandhya, that you've been really consistent in the work that you've been doing as a woman entrepreneur. In fact, I remember when we were together and when I was with Chennai with you, I was freelancing at that point of time in training and coaching, and that was the time when you were also actually into
Beginning,
it,
yeah.
whether physically,
Yeah.
the kind of emails that you would send, or in Facebook, coming up with a page. In fact, at that point of time, I remember I was the one who learned from you as to how to create a page, and then I
Yeah,
went and
yeah.
came up with creating that page. So
Right.
how to, like, sort of tackle challenges, and today, I have seen the growth, that the kind of from what you were to what you're doing today in terms of doing sessions in the corporate world, for example,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
entangle sessions or online sessions that you've taken up. These were not existing. So how have you, like, battled with those challenges and taken those steps? What made you, and how did you do it?
So, one is that, as you said, I've always been consistent. So I've been putting my work out. I've been showing my face. I've been, telling and promoting myself. So I guess that makes me as a leader. People see me, okay, so she's the person that I need to go to. They might not need me right now, but when they think of Zentangle, they do think of me. So that's the kind of presence I've tried to maintain every day, something or the other, some session, something. I've been promoting myself. So people remember that. So when they think of Zentangle, they do think of me. And when they see, they might not need it, but when they need somebody else, when they see somebody else, wanting it, they would refer me. So that is how it's kind of it was a very slow process, but it just, it went on, one thing added to another, and it kind of things started to, move up like that. And other thing is, there has been a lot of e-learning also that I've done in terms of like how to create a page and things like that. So there's lots of help online in terms of YouTube videos and things like that. So I would kind of, but it was not something, again, it was not a planned thing. So I didn't know, okay, this is how I need to go, this is how I need to go. Things just happened when I was at the, it's like when you come to the bridge, that's when you need to cross. It's like I would come there, I wouldn't know what to do, and then I would look up and figure it out and kind of put it out. So that is how my business has actually evolved. I didn't have a plan, I didn't have a mentor to guide me, but it was more like, okay, I need this is not working, there should be a better way to do this. So how do it, let's see how others are doing it. And that's how I would kind of look around, find out what is happening, and then I'll say, oh, this is how everybody is doing, so let me also do it this way. So it's always like see and do kind of a thing. That's how I have slowly grown, very slowly grown. So that is the thing. I feel if I had a mentor, probably my growth could have been much more in terms of everything.
Okay, sure. So of course, I see when I met you, and I see that there is a lot of you are very self-driven, extremely self-driven. In wanting to do things, wanting to achieve things. So when we used to meet, doing our sessions, for example, one thing, that biggest edge that I thought that was there in you was your drive in you. So while you're saying that there were issues, and you were an individual who went ahead and searched in the internet and found out what could be the other ways of doing things, right? So that was your path to it, right? So what do you think, or how do you think, in this whole, like you were talking about digital marketing, in this whole journey of women power in digital entrepreneurship, right? How do you think it is going to be different for women if you sort of are there in the digital space? Of course, entrepreneurship in general is one aspect, but today, who knew that the COVID situation would happen and we'd be locked down 30 days, and everyone is forced to get online. Even my daughter's teachers who can't get onto Zoom today are class, right? So in that sense, how do you think this whole woman power in digital entrepreneurship will change gears? How do you think, how is this digital thing going?
The digital thing is the best. It is the best because we don't have to step out of the house. As a woman, you might be having things that you need to, not everybody has a studio to go out and work. So this is it gives you a nice system to sit at home and do things on the side. You don't really need to have a dedicated time or a dedicated 9 to 5 kind of a job. You can do it as and when. There's no standard time, like only you have to post only 9 to 5. You can post any time of the day, and you can still go ahead. So I think it's I always feel I'm at the most wonderful time of this whole world or this whole time frame, because I can do things and I can reach people whom I would have never thought I could, or in terms of even learning from not just to sell my product or for doing my sessions, even to learn. I can sitting here, everything is at my fingertips. I can just look around, find other artists, see how they are doing it, learn from them, and again similarly sit here and share my knowledge and my skills. So we are in a most beautiful time, and for women, this is the best. We need to just harness this. And as I said, the challenges are there because even though, like, you learn a new platform, you learn how to do this. Things are so changing so fast. The platform itself is changing because they are catering to new changes and new demands. So my struggle is to keep up with that. There's so many platforms. We have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have Pinterest, we have YouTube. So many things are there, now TikTok, and so many things are there. How do you keep up, and what's happening there? What's a new thing that's happening there? And again, how do I mold it to my, if there is a new change, how do I mold it to my business? Not every change could be applied in the same way to all businesses, right? So there is a huge learning curve, which is what we need help, I feel. If we can overcome, say, the thing is, it's changing so fast. By the time I master this, something else has come up. So I'm not able to keep up with that. And especially being a small business wherein I am doing my art and my the skill that I have to share. So I'm kind of polishing that. So I need time to do that. And then I need to also learn to do the marketing part, and then I do the actual marketing part. So there's a lot of, for a small business, it's difficult to grow. So those are the only challenges. But otherwise, I think we're in the best times.
In the best times to leverage the digital journey.
Yes.
And also sort
Yes.
of in terms of the flexibility that we always look for, especially as women. One aspect which I was trying to tell you is, like, after the managerial level, whether it is an entrepreneur or at the corporate, you just see that women disappear. There are a lot of steps, of course, the corporate world is taking, in terms of the policy changes, the flexibility, work our, flexible conditions. And government also seems to be supporting, especially women entrepreneurs, in giving, more finances if you are going with a good plan in terms of business plan. In fact, the current government is supporting, especially supporting women entrepreneurs. So there are changes that you see there. So one other thing that I wanted to understand from you, Sandhya, as a woman entrepreneur and as a person who's in the digital space, because as I told you, I was in fact one of the initially I learned the digital thing from you in creating a page, I must frankly say. So in that, the challenges that you face in the digital world, what are those challenges? One is, of course, you mentioned about so many platforms being there, TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and all of that, where you need to be up to date all the time, and it keeps changing. What are the other challenges? See, there is a lot of cyber stalking that happens. There are those unto-do comments, that you do not really.
That is all, I think, part of life. You just have to be thick-skinned. Okay, it's not entrepreneurship is not for slain hearts. You need to be thick-skinned. You just have to go with it. That's, I think, as a woman living in India, or I think as a woman anywhere in the world, you are just used to these kind of things. You know how to ignore them. You know where to put a stop to that. We have these block buttons and report buttons. So just go ahead. One thing that I've learned in my 10 years of running a business is that if a man wants to do business with you, he will talk like it's a business. There is no, like I can now sense somebody, the way they say a hi and a hello, I know what this call is going to be. Within 10 seconds, I know what this is, and I will immediately take an action. I do not need nonsense in my life. And similarly, even negative comments that comes in, you have to take it with a pinch of salt. You just have to let go. We can't, I mean, it's easy to say. I do live with it for a day or two, and then the next day I'm like, okay, let's start fresh. So that's how it has to, we have to look at it. These are things, as an artist, there's often people trying to steal your work, or rather take your work and call it theirs, or use your idea and come up. So these are all issues that is there. There is not much we can do. We just have to because the technology is so advanced that it doesn't matter if I put my signature, if I put my watermark, or all of that. All that can be taken off. Okay, so there's nothing that we can do. We do take our efforts to prove that it is mine, but then we can only go so far. There's so much thing out there that people can do anything. I've seen stories where people use somebody else's art and do a production of maybe a t-shirt production and things like that, and the artist has no clue about it. So these are issues that is there. And there's not much that we can do about it. That's how it is. So we have a style. So somebody who knows our style knows that it is not theirs and belongs to this artist. But that's how much we can go with.
Sure, Sandhya. So what you're saying is, one is as a woman, we know how quickly as to what is
Yeah.
good for us, business standpoint, and number two is there are certain things that we need to accept, in a business kind of a scenario, and probably we know what to ignore and what to accept, and then take steps accordingly. Yesterday, actually,
Yes.
I was having an interview, Sandhya, with Mr. Krishna Rao, who's actually an ex, army officer plus. Also an alumnus of IIM Lucknow, today running a business on his own. And one of the things that he was also mentioning is that cyber crime and the policies around cyber crime. Today there are actually cells that are available. In fact, in Hyderabad we do have those cells that are there in Gachibowli and few other places where you can go and report these things. While of course, like you mentioned, that there are these block and report buttons that are available in Facebook itself, because I remember I used to get very worried initially, when
I remember we had the discussion.
I
Remember
remember
that, yeah.
having a discussion with you, and in fact, I have started becoming active in Facebook only now. I was not active earlier because I did not know how to deal with these things. So I thought it was a great platform to socialize, and because I, being an external, sort of an extrovert, I would go ahead and do that. And then you realize that, it is not really helping you. And then slowly, you learn, as you very rightly said, and then you start reporting, you have to do further research and find out. But what I really liked about one of the things that yesterday, our friend had said was cyber crime and the policies around cyber crime. While it is very thin line and it's not very clear, even the legal system, there are a lot of gaps in it. But this particular thing, there are things that are there, and we can go and report about it in case there are like sort of people stalking and things like that. So that is definitely a takeaway I wanted to share with you. I'm not sure how much it is in Chennai, but definitely in Hyderabad we have these cells running in Gachibowli. In fact, it's actually called as the cybercrime women's cell. At
no, we
some
do
of
have
the
it. We do have it, but I'm not sure. See, again, you have to file a huge report. So for me, my thing is like, do I need to spend that kind of a time and things like that? So, you do sometimes have to go ahead and do all those things. But fortunately for me, I've just blocked, and there have been weird cases, person calling from different numbers because I was blocking each number and things like that. So I do sometimes take screenshots or save all the numbers, and then warn them, this is the last call you're making me. The next time you make a call, I have all your numbers and everything would be reported and things like that. I mean, you just sometimes you just take it with with a positive thing, and you give them back in a different way. It's just, I think, yeah. But I know we do have it's there in Chennai as well.
these challenges are there, and especially in the cyber world where 70% of the population actually are men who view various things in the internet. The research says that there are very few women who actually go there and probably look at things, and a lot of things that are viewed are also not pleasant viewing, especially by men. So that's the other aspect of it. And what else do you foresee? I mean, of course, you have said that we are in a great. I'll just ask one more question, then it is time for you to ask me one question, and then we will close. It's a half an hour thing. Yeah. So, what else do you sort of foresee in terms of this topic of women power in digital entrepreneurship? What else do you foresee in the future? You are already in this space. I have got into this space. There are a lot of people, in fact, who are in it, especially because of the COVID situation. People will talk differently prior COVID and now, about the digital space. Everyone suddenly has realized how important it is. So what else do you foresee in this?
It is. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And
I only see, yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, so I only see good times because I'm able to reach wider audience sitting here, at my place in a small in a city in Chennai, in India. So that kind of gives me that power to reach out and to engage with people across the world. So I only see, good times ahead. I don't see any disadvantages, and these are there. I mean, as I mentioned, certain things are there, and I think the more women come out, the more these things will kind of subside. It's just that it's just time. Because I remember initially like now I recently got into YouTube, doing videos. Just started my YouTube channel, so it took me a while. I opened the channel sometime in 2011, and it's only now almost 9 years it was just there. I just had an account and I did nothing about it because I was kind of worried about certain things like this. But now I'm okay with it. Probably, I don't know, it could be the age, it could be the times, but I'm like now I probably am much more stronger to deal with things. So I'm okay to put my face out much more. So I only say good times. Things are opening.
Sure. So, what else do you think are one or two steps that women should take? Like you're saying, you've gone through that journey. Now you feel stronger. Now you feel you can go out there in the open. What are those one or top two actions that you think women should take as digital entrepreneurs, or, yeah, as digital entrepreneurs?
I think
Top two.
first thing is to understand the platform. That is like you need to understand what is it, like how do we use it for your business, how to not see it's a general platform, and I'm an you're a content creator, you're offering content, I'm offering both content and like a service and products. So there are different ways to use the same platform. So it gives you a head start when you do that, when you understand how to how to reap the benefit out of this. It's a free platform. What else can we do? How else can we do it? So that is where there's a learning curve there. So but the more you get into it, the more you understand what needs to be done, how it needs to be done. So that is one thing that I've learned, that you need to kind of be open, especially like when there are new things coming into the space. Like now we have TikTok, now we have there's so many new things. When something new comes in, then just keep an eye on it, just see how will it work for your business. Can we work on it, can we use it? So and then hop on. When you hop on, just hop on with full gear. So that's
Just
the
action.
thing that yeah, just
Yeah,
action.
okay. So great, Sada. So now time for you to ask me one question, and then we'll close it in a lighter note. Is that okay?
I do not have a question, although, but I'm really proud of you. I've seen you grow. I've seen you, as you said, like the last 1 year, I guess you've been like rigorously jumping. You've been like going ahead. I'm very proud of you. I'm really happy to see you grow. As I mentioned, as you mentioned, there was a time when I came in and I was like completely confused. I had so many ideas. I didn't know how to prioritize, and you helped me with that. And one of my goals was to have a studio space, and I do have that now. So you gave me that vision, put that in paper, and you made me to work towards that. So I really enjoyed working with you, and I'm sure you will achieve your goals. And I'm here to support you all along.
Sure. Thanks so much, Sandhya. It was excellent actually coaching you. In fact, those are the days were one of the first sort of coachings that I
Yeah.
did women outside the corporate world, because you do sort of
Mm.
coaching in the corporate world, which is very different. And when you do it for the public out there, and you were one of those, and I really enjoyed doing those sessions with you. And I actually use you as an example in so many of my discussions with people, because I think it was very genuinely done,
Yeah.
and you were self-driven, and I just went on doing it, and it came out as a very good sort of a
Yes,
package.
yes. And I'm seeing the results. We are seeing the results. So it's there out there.
Sure. So okay, in a lighter note, so I know you have a man in your life. So given the COVID situation and talking so much about women power and digital entrepreneurship and all that, what is that one thing that you will do today to make your man happy?
Today, so
Today.
normally we enjoy, yeah, we enjoy good, fun discussions on dinner table. So that is one thing, because the kids are all talking, they're sharing their things, they're discovering new things, and it's a good time. That's one time, family time that we have on the dinner table. So it's just always making sure that everything is, proper. Everybody's in a good mood. So that's what I normally do every day, and it's going to be the same today. That's the time we all look forward to after the day's work, and I want to make sure that we have good fun on the dinner table.
Excellent. So, in fact, that's the toughest thing that you've said, Sandhya, because many times sort of juggling this whole thing of work and home, you know, uh, there are times when you are not in a great mood, right? And energy spreads, especially when you're working from home, and those are one of the challenges I face. For me, I would
Yeah.
easily love to go out and work in an office rather than working from home because uh, everything is seen, all your moods are seen, the ups and downs, the anxiety and all that. So especially when you're working, right? So those energies spread, and to keep that, I think it's I know you pretty well. You do an excellent job of it in terms of balancing it out. I think
Thank you.
focus more on that, and all the best. And thank you so much for accepting this discussion. See, one of the ideas, like the reason why I'm doing these discussions with various people in different walks of life is basically to give suggestions, ideas to women who watch this, because what I'm going to do is put all these videos together and make it available for the population out there. And when they see that, when they have to take certain steps, and there are different people saying different things, you can actually make a whole probably document on what are those steps that women should take to be in the forefront. There are different ideas coming up by because all of you are from different fraternity of life, right? So that was the idea that suggestions that you come up with, and as to what women should take and what are the steps that we should take is what is going to help whoever who's watching this. So thank you so much again, Sandhya, and stay home, stay safe, and I hope we get out of this situation soon. So 7th of May is got it. I'm not sure in Chennai how long, but overall we are all waiting.
We don't know yet. Yeah.
So
Let's pray everything gets settled down sooner. So nice talking to you, Preetha, as always. So I'll catch you up later. Okay.
thank you so much. Bye bye. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Yeah. Bye.